Vedas is the thing that teaches us this knowledge. But however, Vedas themselves distract us in so many ways. Why is that? Can anyone tell me from your previous classes? What's the problem with Vedas?
They are vast, Prabhuji.
Okay, that's one thing. They are vast. It's too much to get our hands on. What else?
Material desires
and nobody is qualified enough to perform the procedures.
That's another good point, that we are not qualified to perform the rituals that are mentioned in the Vedas. And Radhika Rati Mataji was saying material desires. So Vedas, Krishna says specifically that Traigunya Vishaya Veda Nistraigunyo Bhavarjuna. These Vedas are dealing with Traigunya, three modes of material nature. So Vedas offer many different kinds of benefits for the activities we do, right? And if you do this particular yajna, you're gonna get this benefit. If you want to win over your enemies, you perform this yajna. You want children, you do this yajna. You want lots of wealth, you do something else. So in this way, Vedas are giving you means for material advancement as well, because it has both everything necessary for material and spiritual advancement. But most of the Vedas is dealing with rituals like this. Therefore, Krishna is saying, Traigunya Veshaya Veda Nistraigunyo Bhavarjuna Nirdvandvo Nitya Sattvasto Niryogakshema Atmavan. So you basically get out of this mentality of dealing with the Vedas. And either in this chapter or somewhere else, Krishna says, Veda Vada Ratta Partha. These Veda Vada Rattas, they says, Nanyadastiti Vadina. There is nothing else in the Vedas. That's it. You perform all these things, you get some benefits and live happily. This is what Veda Vada Rattas will tell, is you follow the Vedas and have some enjoyment. But Krishna says, however, those who are interested in Bhogaishwarya Prasaktanam Tayapahrita Chetasam Vyavasayatmika Buddhir Samadhavna Vidiyate. If you want this focus, if you want to be determined in Buddhi Yoga, if you are interested in Bhoga and Aishwarya, if you are interested in material enjoyment and opulences, then it's not possible to have this focus, right? So now he is coming to the point of understanding what is the essence, what is it that we need to focus on. So this verse is an interesting verse because the translation for this verse is one of the cryptic translations and one of the cryptic verses in the Bhagavad Gita. You find the Sanskrit and the way it is explained. Yavan artha udapane sarvatas samplutodake tavan sarveshu vedeshu brahmanasya vijanataha. So here udapana means well. Here singular is used, udapane means in a well, but it's referring to a group of wells. If any of you have ever lived in villages, or if you have ever visited villages and stayed there for vacation in your grandparents' houses, if you are old enough to have lived that life, so you may see that there will be multiple wells, okay? There may be a well in your own house, but you pretty much use it for taking bath and for washing pots and all that stuff. And then if you want drinking water, sometimes you may have to go a mile to get sweet drinking water, because the water in the well in our house may not be good enough. And this is actually true even now in India, because you have these municipality taps. People won't take water from their own house for drinking purposes because it's not sweet. So the drinking water will come from somewhere else. And then there used to be some wells for watering the fields or even feeding the animals. So in this way, multiple wells would be there. But there is something called Samplutodaka. Samplutodaka means lake. If you go to a lake, it's so vast that the water of the lake can be used for all purposes. It's very sweet, and you can use it for washing clothes, for drinking water, for taking a bath. For all purposes, you can get from that lake. So now this analogy is used. You have a lake and you have many bodies of water. But however, this is being compared to what? The Vedas and then a Brahmana. Tavan sarveshu vedeshu brahmanasya vijanatah. So similarly, there is this body of knowledge of Vedas. There are so many things in the Vedas. But what you want to get from the Vedas is actually available from a Brahmana. Now, what is the meaning of a Brahmana? Brahma janati iti Brahmana. What does that mean? What is the meaning of that? Brahma janati iti Brahmana. What does it mean? Have any of you heard that phrase before? Yeah, so Brahma janati iti Brahmana, there may be two meanings. So Gopi, you know?
One who knows Brahman.
Okay, so Gopi is saying one who knows Brahman. So one who is a transcendental, you could say, one who knows Brahman. Prabhupada uses this example many times. A Brahmana may just know impersonal Brahman, but a devotee, he knows Bhagavan. Therefore, a Vaishnava is greater than a Brahmana. But there's one more meaning for a Brahmana, right? So Gopi, remember that. What is that other meaning?
Brahma means Vedas.
Yes.
Verse of Bhagavatam.
Brahma also means Veda. In the first verse of Bhagavatam, Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaye. Right? Very first verse of Bhagavatam, Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaye. Krishna has given this knowledge to Brahma. In that phrase, Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaye, Adi Kavi is Brahma, and the word Brahma is referring to Veda. Krishna has given Brahma to Adi Kavi. Krishna has given Brahma to Brahma. So the Brahma with a long A is Lord Brahma, and with a short A is the Vedas. So one who knows the Vedas is a Brahmana. But this Brahmana, Brahmanasya Vijanataha, this Brahmana is not an ordinary Brahmana. He is not just Brahma Janati. He is Vishesha Rupena Brahma Janati. Vijanataha means he knows Brahma, he knows the Veda in a very significant manner, in a specific manner. That is why it is called not just Janataha. Janataha means one who knows. But here it says Vijanataha, means he knows in a very thorough manner. He knows that specific sections of the Vedas that gives you the essence of the Vedas. Otherwise, there are many people who can chant Rig Veda, Sama Veda, Yajur Veda, Atharva Veda, so many Upanishads, Brahmanas, Aranyakas, so many things are there in the Vedas. But they may not know as a Vijanata. So here that Brahmana who knows the essence of the Vedas, he knows, we can approach that person. And that person knows the purpose of the Vedas. And that person can give us the purpose of the Vedas. Instead of going to this part of the Veda, this part of the Veda, worshipping this demigod. And another meaning of this is also, is one who knows the Supreme Lord. There may be so many deities, but the Supreme Brahman, Parabrahman is Krishna. One who knows Krishna knows all the Vedas. That's another explanation given by Acharyas. So now we can look at Srila Prabhupada's so many things that are in the purport that are mentioned. So here Prabhupada specifically, whenever it talks about Vedas and Krishna, right? So a lot of people say, Bhagavad Gita is not important, Bhagavatam is not important, Vedas is the main thing. Why do you always worship only Krishna? Why not other Devi Devatas? So people ask like this, right? So, but whenever they say that, what is the verse in the Bhagavad Gita you depend upon? That we have to worship Krishna even though there are so many gods. How can you, on the basis of Bhagavad Gita, say that Krishna is the one that should be worshipped and not other gods? There are several of them. Mataji, you are on mute.
Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam.
Yes, very nice. That's one verse where Krishna himself is declaring, you give everything else and surrender unto me. What else? Okay, so Gopi is saying one here, Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto matas smritirjnanam apohanam cha vedaischa sarver ahameva vedyo vedanta krit veda videva chaham. In all the Vedas, I am to be known. So the purpose of the Vedas is to know Krishna. In all the Vedas, we should know Krishna. Krishna is the essence of all the Vedas, and we have to surrender unto Krishna. And Krishna himself is declaring that all of us are his parts and parcels. Right? 15:7. Mamaivamsho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. Right? All the living entities are my parts and parcels. Krishna is saying that. So therefore, we have to awaken that relationship with Krishna. And there are other places in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna establishes his supremacy. Another verse is 7:7. 7:7. 7:7, not 007, but 7:7. James Bond. 7:7. Matta parataram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya. Mai sarvamidam protam sutre maniganaiva. There is nothing superior to me. Everything is resting upon me as pearls are strung on a thread. So Krishna is that person that is known to be known from the Vedas. This is the meaning of Vijanataha Brahmanasya. He is one who knows this aspect, right? So there are so many things in the Vedas. So you may ask, Krishna has already said we have to go beyond the Vedas. Vedas are not so good. But why again in this verse he is saying Sarveshu Vedeshu? So what he is saying is, yes, you have to transcend the Vedas. What it means is you have to know the purpose of the Vedas and the essence of the Vedas. And that is the person who knows these Vedas in a proper way. Now, Srila Prabhupada goes more further. So if I know Vedas, then if Krishna is the Supreme, I understand through the Vedas, then how do I reach Krishna? So self-realization means we have to understand Krishna and we have to understand our relationship with Krishna. So then what is the process, how we are going to do that? So in order to explain this one, Prabhupada cites a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. This verse is from Srimad Bhagavatam, the talks between Kapila and his mother, Devahuti. Okay. So there, I believe this verse is actually spoken by Devahuti. Aho batashva pachato gariyan yajjihvagre vartate nama tubhyam te pustapaste juhus sasnurarya brahmanuchur nama grinanti ete. O my Lord, a person who is chanting your holy name, although born of a low family like that of a Chandala, dog eater, is situated on the highest platform of self-realization. So Shvapacha, Shva means dog. Shvapacha means one who cooks the dog. One who cooks the dog. Dog cooker. So dog, that means he cooks for eating. So one who eats the dog is called Shvapacha. I believe this one is this also comes in 5th chapter when it talks about a humble sage by virtue of his wisdom, knowledge. He sees a dog eater, a cow, elephant, and a brahmana with an equal vision. What is that verse? Vidya vinaya sampanne brahmane gavihastini shuni chaiva shvapakecha. Right? There shvapaka, again, shvapaka means cooked dog, right? The one who eats the dog. Shvapaka, shvapacha, same thing. So even if somebody has taken birth in that kind of family, he is Gariyan. He is considered to be higher. For why? Yat jihvagre vartate nama tubhyam. Jihva means tongue. On whose tongue, where there is your holy name. That means if he is chanting your holy name, then that person is greater than anyone else. And the fact that he is chanting the holy name, we must understand that he has undergone all these things. What are they? Tepus tapaha. That means he has performed lots of austerities already. Juhuvuhu. That means juhoti means performing sacrifice. That means he has performed all sacrifices, all homa, yagna, everything he performed. Sasnuhu. Sasnuhu means like snana. Sna means to take bath. Sasnuhu means he has taken bath in many holy places. We believe in going to several holy places and taking bath in the holy rivers. Why? That will purify us. And Brahma Anuchuhu. Again, here Brahma means Vedas. That means he already recited Vedas many, many times. Nama Grananti Ete. Again, that person who is chanting your holy name, he must have done all these activities. Otherwise, he would not be able to chant these holy names. That means understanding the essence of the Vedas to be Krishna and then chanting the holy name of Krishna is actually a visishta, a specific, a wonderful, a deep understanding of the Vedas. That means he studied the Vedas, he followed the Vedic injunctions of performing sacrifices, austerities, taking bath, doing lot of patha, Veda patha, everything, and he understood that the essence to be Krishna, and then he's chanting the holy name of Krishna. So it is on the authority of these type of verses that Srila Prabhupada always says, a Vaishnava is considered to be greater than a Brahmana. And that's what here Krishna is also recommending. And then Prabhupada explains little more that we should be properly intelligent to understand what the purpose of the Vedas is. One of you answered that Vedas are so vast, therefore it is not possible to understand. Even now you can get Vedas on internet. But Jiva Goswami 500 years ago, in his Tattva Sandarbha, he writes that we only have 5% of the Vedas. 5%. This was 500 years ago. From that point till now also certain things may have disappeared. Okay. So we don't even have the full Vedas. Therefore, Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, these are the representatives of Vedas. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the Goswamis, they stress on Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. So we have Vedas, Upanishads. Among all the bodies of the Vedas, Upanishads is the highest section of the Vedas. Because Upanishads are the ones that talk about giving up this material world and engage in transcendental subject matter. But even Upanishads will take us mostly to the impersonal platform. They don't speak about Krishna yet. They only talk about giving up this material world and going into transcendence. But Krishna is not fully described, except in a few Upanishads here and there. So then Prabhupada also gives a practical example of demonstrating this principle. And he gives the example of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in Benares, and there was a great sannyasi whose name was Prakashananda Saraswati. He had thousands of followers, and most of them were sannyasis. So a sannyasi is supposed to be very sober, free from any sentiments or emotions. He has already given up this material world, very learned, always engaged in studying the Shastras. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visits Benares and then he starts this Sankirtana, he's going on the streets and chanting the holy names. Everybody is following Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They are participating in chanting and dancing. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is manifesting so many ecstatic emotions. And he's gaining so many followers. So this news comes to Prakashananda Saraswati that there is a sannyasi in town and so many people are trying to go to him, have his darshan. And Prakashananda Saraswati is the leading sannyasi. He is the leader in Benares. And there's another sannyasi and they're going to hear from him. And he feels envious. And he wants to put, who is this person? Who is this person? So there is another devotee, Tapan Mishra and others. They go and they hear these insulting words from Prakashananda Saraswati that they're putting down Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. A sannyasi is not supposed to be sentimental like that and crying. A sannyasi should be totally detached. Sannyasi means detachment. Why is he crying like this? This is all sentimental nonsense. He must be a bogus sannyasi. So then this devotee, Chandrasekhara, Tapan Mishra, they feel so bad. And it was actually Chandrasekhara. So he wants to devise a plan where Prakashananda Saraswati could understand the greatness of Lord Chaitanya. So he invites Prakashananda Saraswati and his disciples, everybody, to a lunch at his house. And he also invites Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So all of these Prakashananda Saraswati, all the sannyasis are seated nicely. They're sitting, waiting to eat prasadam, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu walks in. And in the village, it is a tradition that when you go to a place, the first thing you do is you wash your feet. The hygiene, cleanliness is so important. We are forgetting that now. So, but before eating, you wash your hands, you wash your mouth. It's something called common sense. It used to be a common sense, and now the CDC has to issue guidelines to tell you to wash your hands. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he goes there, washes his feet, but then he just sits near that place where he washes his feet. And Prakashananda Saraswati is sitting in the ninth place. He asks, "Oh, why are you sitting there?" And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, "Oh, I am just a lowly, sentimental sannyasi. So I'm just sitting here. You are also illustrate, such a learned people. I'm just sitting here." But Prakashananda Saraswati could see that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's face is glowing with so much effulgence. Something in his heart, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna, Krishna is in the heart of Prakashananda Saraswati. He had some sincerity, so he could see that there's something special about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now, this is also Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's preaching strategy. Preaching is not always arguing with somebody and defeating them. It is not, preaching doesn't mean that I know more than you, I'm greater than you. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, here he is actually exhibiting his humility. And with his humility, he conquered Prakashananda Saraswati. He sat at a lower place, what is considered to be a lower place, thinking himself to be unqualified to go sit with those people. So when Prakashananda Saraswati saw this behavior, his heart softened a little bit, and then he goes and with his own hand, he lifts up Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and he calls him to please sit with us. And he says, your name is actually Sri Krishna Chaitanya. This is actually from one of our sampradayas. You belong to one of our sampradaya. This last name Chaitanya. So why are you doing like a sentimental person? And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, actually my Guru Maharaj said, I'm a fool. I cannot study all these Vedas and Upanishad. This is so big. So हमारा गुरु देखे हमें मूर्खा. He thought I am a murkha, I am a fool. Therefore he told me, you just chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So from then onwards, I've been chanting this Hare Krishna Mahamantra. But I'll tell you one thing, I don't know what it is. Ever since I started chanting this Mahamantra, I go mad. And I just don't know what happens to me. I start crying, sometimes I roll on the ground, sometimes I dance. I absolutely have no idea what happens to me. I just become a madman. So then they enter into a dialogue, and slowly Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gains upper hand, and he explains to him from the Shastras, from the Vedas, from Upanishads, from Bhagavatam, from everything, that the holy name of the Lord is the essence of everything. So therefore, this holy name contains everything. Holy name is not different from Krishna, right? And the essence of the Vedas is devotional service to the Lord. And among all the processes of devotional service, chanting of the holy name is the process for this day and age. Because we are not qualified to study the Vedas, understand the Vedas, do all the rituals, even do proper deity worship, so many things. Therefore, the prescribed method for this day and age is chanting of the holy name. So that person who genuinely realizes this one, who deeply realizes this aspect and develops it attachment for the holy name and constantly chant the holy name, that person is called a Vijanata Brahmana, right? That person is a Brahmana who actually understood the Vedas. And one time, devotees were distributing so many of Prabhupada's books, and Prabhupada was so happy. And one of the leading book distributor, he came and told Prabhupada, we did so many books, and Prabhupada was so happy. And then Prabhupada thought for a second and he said, I'll ask you a question. Why are we distributing all these books? And the devotee was, oh, Prabhupada, because we have the best philosophy and these books are so great. And Bhagavad Gita is so great, Bhagavatam is so great, these books and everything. But why? Okay, once people get it, you distribute, but what is the purpose? It is very nice to read these books, Prabhupada. Then Prabhupada said, you know why I wrote all these books? I wrote all these books so you'll be convinced that there's nothing more than chanting the holy names, and you can chant 24 hours a day. If you can chant 24 hours a day, there is no need to read my books anymore. Right? So the point is, Srila Prabhupada has given us all these books to tell us this one thing, that we should develop taste for chanting the holy name. But we have to keep reading Prabhupada's books. We have to hearing from Prabhupada's books to get reminded on this point of the holy name. Sometimes we say, hey, chanting is boring, let's do something else, right? And we do something else, but whatever that something else we are doing, whether reading or talking or dramas or deity worship, whatever it may be, it should increase our taste for chanting the holy names. That is the test, right? So everything else should assist us in chanting the holy names. That is the purpose actually Srila Prabhupada has given all these books. And even the Vedanta, this is the purpose of the Vedanta. What is the meaning of Vedanta? So you know already Vedas. Veda is the body of knowledge. Veda also means to know as a verb. Veda means that body of knowledge that helps us, gives us knowledge. And Veda Anta. Anta means the end. Vedanta means the end of the Vedas. That means the essence of the Vedas is called Vedanta. Right? So and Krishna is the one who gave the Vedanta. He is the knower of the Vedas. And Srila Prabhupada says the highest Vedantist, of course, this is not a Sanskrit word, Vedantist, Vedanta. Vedantist is our, English word using Sanskrit. And it happens, a lot of Sanskrit words are in English dictionary now. If you look for the word yoga, for the word guru, for the word karma, you find it in English dictionary, right? So the mantra, lots of words. So Vedantist is basically one who follows this path of Vedanta. The highest Vedantist is the great soul who takes pleasure in chanting the holy name of the Lord. That is the ultimate purpose of all Vedic mysticism. You can take each purport of Srila Prabhupada's and make a quotation out of it and send it to WhatsApp group. Prabhupada's purports are so powerful, right? Very informative things that it may seem simple, but hearing from Prabhupada again and again, it will deepen our faith. And this is why we have to read Prabhupada's books again and again and again, because it will put us on the right track if we read with proper attention. So I'll stop here. We have 9 minutes and we can have some discussion if there are any questions or comments.